Observing without the observer, is there that quality of love? So this is our pattern. Care, affection, responsibility, with all of the pleasure involved in that. Laying all that aside.
Without the image that I've laid it all aside.
In that, is there that experience or quality of love? If thought is aware of itself, thought doesn't think to itself, there is love.
Mm-hmm.
But there's simply that quality and its recognition.
Mm-hmm.
So to go deeply into this question, one must understand the mechanism of thought.
What it means to observe without an observer.
Mm-hmm. Observing without the observer, there is this quality of love. Love which is not obtained in my relationship to you, or your relationship to me. Not I love you, but just this quality of love in relationship.
Meeting in the same, yes, connecting in the same time and space. Like simultaneous, like synchronicity,
Mm-hmm.
right? Coincidence. That is like coincident.
Mm-hmm. So one must go into this question very, very carefully. Is love pleasure?
Okay.
Is love desire? Is love jealousy? Is love fear? Is love sentimental? Is love romantic? Is love a remembrance?
I see. Are they identical?
Is love put together by thought?
I see.
And one can only go very deeply into this question if one begins by not knowing what love is. I thought that today we might talk over the question of love. It's a word that has come up a number of times in our dialogue so far. It seems that it's something that all or most of us value to some degree or other. And also it seems that it's something that rather few of us understand. So I thought we could go into this question today of love.
Where to begin?
We think of love as something personal, private, earned. Love is a special relationship obtained between two special people, or two people who are special to each other. An object or animal of particular fondness. Perhaps a location or a time of year.
I see, like obtained as in achieved. It may be between two special people. I don't know. I don't know if that's precondition or not, but like after the fact, you might say, oh, these are two special people. Perhaps special is doing a lot of work there. Not sure what that means either, really. But something earned. I think this was the focus. You work for it.
Or perhaps simply in virtue of a kind of relationship that is there or it should be there. Familial love.
I see. When you say by virtue of special relationship, like a daughter and a mother might share, by virtue of that relationship, you would expect there to be love. I see, like a given.
This may be the expectation.
That's cool. Sometimes it's a given, sometimes it's earned.
In this relationship is found a certain quality of affection, care, responsibility. but always limited to the context of some particular relationship or other.
I say limited to its expressions.
So we're asking together, is that love? Is love essentially, by nature, personal, private, exclusive?
Well, if one has love in their life, or would like to believe so anyway, the impression of love is made or remembered maybe with somewhat of a private, personal, exclusive sense, isn't it? That's how I remember my love, my experiences of love in a private, personal, exclusive sense. My relationship with that person or this person in my memory. Oh, I remember this quite fondly.
A relationship built over time with its various joys, difficulties, struggles, conflicts, reconciliations.
Mm-hmm. My entire memory of that relationship. But the my qualifier makes it personal, private. No one else has the sense for our relationship except me. And so in this sense, exclusive. No one will relate to this person the way I do. And this is how my sense of love is informed, through various kinds, more or less, of this kind of relationship. And so I think to myself that I have the so-called personal love language. This is how I express my love. This is how others express their love. I develop this kind of sense of personalized, private, exclusive loves.
Somehow or other specialized.
Mm-hmm. But in describing it, now I think that in that there might be the source of jealousy. I look on at the relationship that these two people have and I think, oh, I wish I had that with somebody else or with one of them. I begin to want to understand the love language of others, develop this frame. But then again, people have told me that, well, if you're not jealous of the people you love, you don't love them really. They say love hurts. They say there's pain to beauty. There's hurt to love. I might have even fancied it quite romantic.
Viewing love as a special form of relationship, placing personal value in it, not finding that value in other areas of life. There is a certain demand to secure the object of my affection. There's a demand that my estimation of that relationship as special remain, that it's not threatened. And when I feel that my special quality of relationship is threatened with another, that another is the object of my love's concern, fancy, I grow jealous. Something I want, something I value, something I possess is, at least to my mind, being drawn away from me.
Mm-hmm. Like imagine there are otherwise. Like the thing that you're jealous about might not exist as an actual relationship. If I want somebody to be a certain way, or myself to be a certain way, like that quality of relationship that I think is there might not actually be there. And if I may, I feel like, personally, I feel so unequipped to talk about love, because this is like the typical regular encounters with love. And so, who is in a position publicly to speak about love?
Well, just to examine the question, see what's involved in it, see the implications of our societal view, the consequences of it.
Not to say how it should be or how it actually is, but just to look at how it is right now. And naturally, the body will ask if that's what we want. It'll respond to that examination. So is this love? The private, personal, exclusive?
Yeah.
I don't know how else I have a relationship to it.
But love is something we value, something we crave, something we hold dear. And going into the question together, we want to find out if there's any truth to it.
If there's any truth to it. I see. Like, is it real?
If love is jealous, with that jealousy comes fear. And so, born out of that fear, mistrust,
anxiety,
suspicion.
Could you say a little bit more about suspicion? I'm not sure if I have a sense for it. Like, I don't know quite what you're saying. How is it different from mistrust? Yes.
I get a sense that another is vying for my partner's affection, or I get a sense that my parents have a preference of my sibling over me. And I'm not quite sure. I don't know.
Suspicion.
But I suspect it to be the case. And then this suspicion colors my interactions.
I see. It's like once removed from doubt. The doubt isn't operating quite as the faculty should. It's it has a blending of mistrust into it, the doubt. Doubt would imply I simply don't know. I simply don't know if this person is vying for my partner's affection, or I don't know if my partner is affectionate towards him or not. I don't know if my parents favor one or the other over the other. I don't know what reason they would have to do so. And all of this is implied in doubt. But now I'm suspicious of certain conclusions.
With doubt, not knowing, I suspend my judgments, I observe, I find out if I'm interested, if I care.
Naturally, there's a response to this doubt.
But in suspicion, there is always either an attempt to confirm or deny my suspicions. Oh, I'm just being paranoid. I knew it all along. This back and forth.
I see. Like it might lead to a kind of confirmation bias. If I could use that term. It's rather technical, but
the struggle with one's own mind.
No, with doubt, it seems like I'm putting the picture together. But with suspicion, it feels like I have a picture that I'm gathering the parts for. Okay. Suspicion. With jealousy, there's fear and suspicion. I think I said anxiety. Yeah.
And being afraid, mistrustful, hurt from their hatred.
I see. If I'm reasonably suspicious, my suspicions will be confirmed. And once my suspicions are confirmed, that's all I really need to get hurt. And then hurt is really all I need to become a hurt person, and then hurt people. And in that, hate.
And as you say, with that hate, violence.
I see. I don't know about violence. That might be a question for another time.
Will you say, being hurt, growing reactive, lashing out? Not that the violence necessarily takes overt, outward physical form, although it may.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm violent with my words.
I see. Like a harshness, a roughness. You can introduce texture to it. Rough, violent texture.
Violent in my so-called silence.
So-called silence. I see. In silence, so-called because it's quite loud. I was thinking more like quietly sobbing in your room. Violent in my so-called silence.
It's a possibility. Yes.
Like I can't even talk to you.
A withdrawal, a withholding.
Yes.
Withholding my affection, withholding my care.
My silent pain. So-called silent pain. There's some suspicion in the so-called.
So this is our pattern. Care, affection, responsibility, with all of the pleasure involved in that, desire, ambition, attachment, jealousy, fear, suspicion, hatred, and violence.
So my love has a relationship to suspicion, hatred, and violence. Oh dear.
And then coming into conflict.
I don't know if laughter is an appropriate response. I just don't know what to do. The body needs energy. Coming into
conflict, either resolving the conflict or finding a way to put it to the side.
My love has a relationship to war.
Weathering the storms.
There's no peace. Weathering the storms.
And then we come out of it stronger.
I see. My love is an anvil. And as the hammer strikes, I become more durable, I become sharper. But like to what end? Like what is this for?
So seeing all this, we're asking, is this love?
Or does any of it have a relationship to love? And if so, what's the relationship? What's the relationship that these things have to love? This is an important question.
This movement being described, has it any value? Any significance?
Oh, wow. That's deep. That's a deep cut. What is the significance of jealousy, hatred, conflict?
Pleasure and desire.
What do they signal? Oh, like what meaning have they?
Yeah. Is there any truth to it?
Perhaps if we could switch gears for a moment. What if I'm a so-called scientist and I say, obviously there's no such thing as love. Whatever we're calling love is merely a psychochemical process that occurs in the brain, the body responding to, oh dear, this is like a big thought, the survival instinct of the sex drive and the hunger drive to merely pass on its genes. So implied in this statement would be exploration into survival. What is sex? What is hunger? What does it mean to consume? And why do you say merely? What is implied? What is significant about the psychoactive chemical process? What is it doing? And if that's all there is, what does that mean? If one has insight into all that is, you see, and says the rest are illusion, like what does that mean? This is a deeply complicated question you brought to our table today.
Suggestion is love is an extension of the survival mechanism brought over into the psychological domain.
Wow. It's unbelievable. Even that description is unbelievable. That movement could even occur. That I could have a psychological sense for what I need my body, that I could have a psychological sense of what my body needs to survive. Like what motivates it. Mm-hmm. I could have a psychological sense for that. That's what you're saying. That's what the description is suggesting. That is, like, even the description is. Now I'm getting excited, but
certain mechanism, reward and punishment, built up over thousands and millions of years.
That I can feel the excitation of the body and proclaim to another, now I'm getting excited. Like that, like what is going on there? Mm-hmm. Almost unbelievable.
And then this reward punishment mechanism.
Yes, sir.
Material process informing our consciousness, informing our behavior.
Yes, yes.
Informing our psychology.
Like literally putting it together, mm-hmm. Putting it into formation, as they say. That my psychological constructs, let's say, seem to have some kind of relationship to the physiochemical process. But what does that mean? How is that the case? Now I'm kind of throwing out I wonder statements, but we can ignore those.
The thought also, material, mechanical process. Mm-hmm. And so, in relationship with other mechanistic activities of the body.
So it seems like shifting to this gear doesn't really lead to a reduction of questions. I still don't know what love is, even though I may have been inclined to say it's merely this, to put it into some compact sense.
The pattern that we've described is probably well explained by this mechanism. Made a little bit more neurotic, a little bit less functional through our thinking about it all the time. But basically an extension of this survival drive. So we're saying, is that love? And
I see, but if it was the survival drive, perhaps it's less so personal, less so private, less so exclusive. I feel like it opens these doors a little bit. Perhaps these descriptions, being technical as they are, do have a sense of can only be developed personally, privately, exclusively. But what they're actually describing, I feel like, this basic excitation of the body, survival instinct, this is rather non-personal, non-private.
Although limited to and expressed in a personal context.
Yes, sir. Mm-hmm.
Observing without the observer. From observing the fact that the observer is the observed, both being the past, both being a movement of thought. Observing without the observer, is there that quality of love? Without an image of myself, without an image of others, without an image of objects, the world, or experience, laying all that aside.
Without the image that I've laid it all aside.
In that, is there that experience or quality of love?
I don't know if I want to give it a name, but I don't know the quality. What am I calling the quality?
Observe you without an image, and you observe me without an image.
It sounds good. What you're describing sounds good. One could dream about not making judgments about themselves or the other person, so that Perhaps there might be some peace. What you're saying sounds good, but I don't know. I don't know if... Is there ever a moment when one tells themselves, I have no images of myself, I have no images of another person? And so is there ever a moment that one recognizes that quality of love? Perhaps. Perhaps there is that moment. But as soon as it becomes that moment, and as soon as you can recognize it, like it's no longer there. So what is that thing that I'm calling that quality of love?
The recognition of that quality is not the actuality of that quality. But if thought is aware of itself, thought is a movement of the past, modifying itself as the present, extending itself into the future, responsive memory, accumulated knowledge experiences. If thought is aware of itself, thought doesn't think to itself, there is love. But there's simply that quality and its recognition.
There's a quality of love in its recognition?
And its recognition.
And its recognition, I see.
So to go deeply into this question, one must understand the mechanism of thought.
What it means to observe without an observer.
This, I think, is the most basic thing. Without understanding what it means to observe without an observer, we're really lost. Otherwise, we're always repeating the old pattern. Always perpetuating the existing society.
Or some observer says.
Not that it is the case because the speaker says it is the case.
Yes.
But rather, thought is a movement of the past.
There's almost no point talking about it. There's almost no point talking about observing without the observer, beauty, love, truth. Like there's almost no point talking about it because talking about it is never directly it. It won't matter how many minutes or hours you spend listening to people talking about observing without the observer if you're not listening.
You have to do it.
Like there's literally no other way. Like nobody can do anything for you. Like actually nobody can do anything for you. And you'll live with the knowledge forever that I think I love this person, I think this person loves me, but
I think I love God.
I think I love God, I think God loves me, right? Sometimes one might fear that God no longer loves me, you see? And one might become dreadfully anxious about this lack. But unless you find out for yourself, you'll always live with this knowledge of, I only think that because that's what other people have told me about love, or told me about God, and told me about me, and what I've told myself about myself.
Even if somehow I break through and experience
I don't know why it
something
comes
new.
off morally. I don't understand that quite yet.
If I don't understand the mechanism of thought, thought turns what was new into what is now old.
Or if one could stand outside of time, thought turns what isn't thought into the new, into the old.
We have to be careful with this word new. Because generally the new exists in comparison with the old. But in this context, when I use the word new, I mean the new is the negation of the old.
I see.
So observing without the observer, if one can do it.
There's like this satisfaction talking about love to an audience that I don't know is there. There's like
who is listening?
There's like an anger. It feels righteous though, but I don't know. So I'm like apologizing for it.
Observing without the observer, there is this quality of love. Love which is not obtained in my relationship to you, or your relationship to me, not I love you, but just this quality of love in relationship. And then, if there is another who can meet you at the same time, at the same level,
I see.
with the same intensity,
Connecting in time and space. Yes.
in that relationship between two human beings, two individuals, there's love.
You said a tremendous thing just now. Two people. Two human beings. Could you imagine it? Like yourself and then like another. Almost unbelievable. I see. Meeting in the same, yes, connecting in the same time and space. Like simultaneous. Like synchronicity.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Coincidence. That is like coincident.
Mm-hmm. And then in inquiring into this question of love, see what it is implied in with the intelligence operating there.
It's quite tender. Like you almost don't want to say it. You almost don't want to talk about it. You almost don't want to even acknowledge its existence. Because your word, you might touch it somehow and then corrupt it, but like, that's not going to happen. So you do talk about it. And it's tender. It's a tender quality.
This word love has become so spoiled, but in spoiling the word love, we don't spoil love, we spoil ourselves.
We spoil ourselves. I see, like the use of the word love has been spoiled.
So one must go into this question very carefully with a great depth of brutal internal honesty.
Partners ask each other so casually, do you love me? They say to each other so casually, oh, I love you. I love you so much, they say. If only you did. Not that one shouldn't say I love you,
mm-hmm.
or ask, do you love me? Not that one shouldn't say these things. I don't mean to come across as...
Someone does something I like, does something I want, something that brings me pleasure, I say I love you.
I see. It's a carrot. It's a carrot, really.
So one must go into this question very, very carefully. Is love pleasure? Is love desire? Is love jealousy? Is love fear? Is love sentimental? Is love romantic? Is love a remembrance?
I see. Are they identical?
Is love put together by thought? And one can only go very deeply into this question if one begins by not knowing what love is.
If I could say for a moment a little bit about identity. You had thrown out a lot of is questions. Is this, that? One way one could approach identity, or a question of identity, is this. See if your two parts have a correspondent, and then make their identity like a consequence of that correspondence. So, is love life? Is pain life? And then if love is life and pain is life, then you know that love and pain they have some kind of identity. This is one way you could approach identity, their correspondence. But a different way to approach identity would be for a thing to have no parts. Like you could approach identity holistically. And so when my co-host is asking the question, something like, is love jealousy? One could approach the question as something like, is what is divided into parts? Love and jealousy. It's a good question.
Personally, I don't know how to approach this question. All I know is that if I approach this question as an observer, separate from what is observed, my response to this question will be dictated by my past.
The question of love? Like, what is love?
Observing the world, what I've been told, what I've been trained, how I've been educated, I see this is what I'm told love is. So I want to know, is what is being described the actuality, the depth, the greatness, the beauty of love?
Where might have one gotten these associations from? Like, does one already think of love as a great, deep love, like good thing? I don't know. I don't know if that's relevant to the ponderance here. Like, very subtly, one has already constructed like images.
I want to find out if love has any significance at all.
Yes. I think what I'm articulating is the actual difficulty of beginning a question, actually not knowing.
One can only understand what love is by understanding what it is not.
Mm-hmm.
Which is not to make a conclusion, this is not love, this is not love.
Mm-hmm.
Logically speaking, if this is love, it has no value.
I see. Negation is kind of technical. Negation is a very technical...
But rather, to perceive the reality of what is described as love and in perceiving the reality of the description, see if there's any relationship between the description and the described.
Which is like the birth of that question.
Outside of the description, which has been put together by thought, is there an actuality to love at all?
I see. And the activity of this question. It's a lovely activity.
Question brings me to the point where I say I don't know. Not knowing, all movement of thought comes to an end because I'm interested, I care, I want to find out.
If I do.
If I do.
Because I might not. I might listen to the speakers and not feel the significance. And I might put it away. But that might not mean that you don't care or are unintelligent.
If I don't care about this question of love?
No. In this particular format.
If one has a more direct way of approaching this question, probably they don't need to listen to the speaker.
Which I dare say might be a good thing.
Yes, sir.
But I say that very cautiously because passing such judgment might be outside of my caliber.
So observing what has been described as love with no movement of thought, therefore seeing very, very clearly, in that there is perception and insight. Perception of what love is. Born out of that perception, understanding.
Does it strike you that in makes it sound a little bit more nested than it might actually be? You say in observing without the observer, in listening to descriptions of love, and in questioning these descriptions and asking oneself, is there love outside of these descriptions? You said in that there is insight and perception. I'm struggling to...
I see. And so, observing without any movement of thought, which is the observer, if one says from that, implies a temporal
yes,
element.
yes. If one says outside, that might have a spatial.
And
In
so
seems
implies
nested.
a logical
Yes, sir.
relationship.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So not that. This kind of philosophical negation.
But only when the movement of thought comes to an end, insight can take place.
Now there's when. If, like the philosophical conditioning, like if then, I think coding, like programming language also uses this kind of conditional. In was rather clean. I might have muddied up the wording here, but I just wanted to pursue the question omnidirectionally. And so, is there shock? Is there surprise in love? How might I describe this? Amazement? Wonder? I don't know. Like splendor? I don't know. Like what? Huh? What is this? I see. Like that feeling you get when you're looking at something and you don't even know what it is. Like you don't even know that you're looking at it. But like something. Like a exclamation mark. No context.
The operation of love with its intelligence.
Like if I may, so like you say that, and then for me, there's like a question mark. Like what has just been said? The operation of love and its intelligence. So there's a question mark. The operation of love and its intelligence. And then I look into the meaning of what's been said. I don't really know what's been said. The operation of love, like I look into the meaning of these words, and then like I think I see something. Like I think I might understand something that's being said. But then there's like exclamation mark. Like I'm like meaning, like exploration. Like what? Communication with another person, another like a different human being. I don't know, or communication with a human being. Like what? And then there's like a excitement from that. There's an energy, motivation.
Description can only go up to a certain point. One can push that description as far as their capacity allows.
I could sing you all of the love songs until I die, my dear. I could. There may be no end to the number of love songs that humans could write.
But at a certain point, description comes to an end. And with the coming to the end of description, when we're no longer thinking together, inquiry does not stop.
Mm-hmm.
If there is an observation of love with its intelligence, questioning continues. What is the nature of this thing? What is the relevance of this thing? How does love affect my daily life, my relationships? If I have this thing called love, and yet live in a world of hatred, how do I exist in this world?
I see. Part of the conversation about love might be, what is its relationship to hatred?
Or I have a glimpse of this thing called love.
Mm-hmm.
It's there, and then apparently it's gone. Is love fleeting? Can one keep hold of it?
Apparently it's gone. I see. Love is gone, but I remain. Fascinating. I outlasted love. This is what's being suggested. Not in these words, but and to consider love's relationship to hatred, one would be considering the perspective of love. Like one would have to be looking through love's eyes. I see. Does questioning not end with death? You said something comes to an end, and still there's like that intelligence operating. What do you mean?
I don't quite recall.
Oh, I see. Wow. We could forget it. And yet questioning might continue. We don't know. Does love have a relationship to compassion? One might confuse this not knowing for sorrow in the sense of one might think that in taking on the sorrows of others, or taking on that great sorrow of humanity, and being very compassionate, one might have this sense.
With love and its intelligence, there is compassion. Compassion which is much more inclusive than love. A love that is tinged with sorrow is a movement of psychological time, and so put together by thought.
A love that is tinged with sorrow
is a movement in psychological time.
I see.
And so put together by thought.
I see. And then one recognizes compassion. And in time, thought thinks in sorrow, like compassion. And because the recognition takes in time, you think in sorrow. But the source of this recognition was not in sorrow.
Feeling the pain of another. Feeling the suffering of another. I say this is compassion.
In that moment of empathy. In that crying together, you think compassion.
But the description is not the described.
Which comes after the fact of that moment.
So in understanding what is false, I also understand why what is false is taken to be true. So love, the depth of it, the meaning of it, is not put together by thought, is not a movement in time. In that there is truth.